My name is Fraser.
My name is Mark.
And we are the hosts of the geekiest show alive. To the outside world, we're ordinary geeks.
But in the Fab International Studios, we talk comics and find other geeks just like us. This is Geek of the Week.
Ducks on with Saint Laurent, gotta kiss myself, I'm so pretty. I'm too hot. Call the police and the fireman, I'm too hot.
I need photos of Spider-Man.
So, you know the sounds of J. Jonah Jameson. It's time for the news on Geek of the Week. Now, we've collated a load of news that we're going to save for next week because, don't know if you know this, but a big Marvel film came out named Captain Marvel, and we're going to spend the whole news section, just because we know we're going to have a lengthy conversation about this, we're going to spend the whole news section talking about Captain Marvel. So it's not really news, it's more of a Captain Marvel review.
It's more review than news.
Yeah.
The news is that Captain Marvel is out. That's your news. Now we're going to go into the review section.
We might talk about some news related to the film coming out as well, but that will be in our review as well.
Well, before we start...
Reviews, news.
Reviews. Wow. That's not a word. We'll never use that word again.
All words are made up, so it could be a word. If enough people use it.
Only you will ever use it.
Revenues! Carry on.
Wow. Before we start... we did go to the midnight launch on the Thursday, but unfortunately, we don't really like acknowledging this, but we record the show on Thursday morning, and it's broadcast on Saturday morning. So we did go to the midnight launch like the massive geeks we are, but unfortunately the review wasn't on last week's show. So it's been like over a week since we first saw this.
We've given people time to sort of watch the film.
That's what it is.
Digest it.
It's not that it's inconvenient. It's that we're deliberately avoiding spoilers for our listeners. That's exactly what we planned. That's how we planned it.
So we know now that if you're listening, you've probably seen it.
Yeah.
Or you're not too bothered about spoilers because... fair warning.
That is a beautiful blag. Next time we won't say anything and pretend that's the real reason.
See, this is when Avengers Endgame will come out on it. I mean, they always sort of come out the Thursday midnight, but this is when Avengers Endgame will come out on a Tuesday, and it's like, oh, we can't really use that blag.
No.
But then we'll be super on time for it.
Exactly.
So it'll be ideal. I mean, the next ones are Shazam and Hellboy. But
are we going to do midnight launches for them as well?
I mean...
Because I had a great time at the midnight launch. It felt naughty being in the Trafford Centre at like 12 o'clock at night with like pretty much no one else other than geeks holding Captain Marvel posters.
If you've never been to the Trafford Centre, it's like this giant shopping centre. It's very much like... It takes its influence from, I think, the Titanic, but also has all this random... It's like it would fit perfectly in Vegas.
It is pretty Las Vegas
But when you come out, you are like abandoned, so it's more like Fallout in Las Vegas.
Yeah. I've always said that if you go to the cinema late in a shopping centre, when you come out, it's like being in a zombie film.
Exactly.
And it just makes it a little bit better.
I felt like a zombie as well, because, you know, it's a late night. I
didn't go to bed much later than I normally do.
Because we were up early recording the show.
That's true.
It was a long day. But enough about that. Let's talk about Captain Marvel. So, yeah, like I say, there will be some spoilers. So if you're watching this on YouTube, probably avoid this video until next time. If you're listening live, apologies, you're just going to have to...
skip forward a bit. There's some music in a bit.
Until you hear music, and then you go, I'm safe again.
If you're listening live, switch to Channel 3 on Fab Radio for like a quarter of an hour or so, and then flip back.
Stay on us, but just go, or mute.
Wow.
That is also an option.
Don't mute us. I wish I could mute you sometimes.
Yeah, but don't play someone else. I can mute you. I've got the power.
I know you can.
It's very dangerous. Right, we should probably talk about this film because we've digressed quite a bit. Tangent
Tornado. That's your fault.
So, what were your thoughts of the film? Just want to point out, actually, before we do that, the bit of news. This has broke the March opening weekend box office, so it beat Batman v Superman. So go Captain Marvel, go you.
That's brilliant. I'm glad it's done well as well, because there was a lot of... let's go with toxicness.
Yeah, we were talking about Rotten Tomatoes or rotten toxicness. You know, toxic...
reviewing stuff before they'd seen it kind of stuff, which is really bad.
There's a term for them. It's called bad acting. But it's not... I thought it was like, they're just terrible actors who are angry that someone else has got the role. No, it's people who act like everything's bad. There's actually a term for them.
Well, that's because there's so many of them these days.
No, it's annoying, isn't it?
I'm closer to that than you are, but I'm generally a pretty optimistic guy.
I know, compared to them, anyone is. Compared to them... Compared to them, Theresa May's optimistic.
So yeah, none of that on this show. No. So I'm very, very glad that it's not only has it done well, its reviews have got better and it's doing quite well with like decent scores and stuff now. Yeah. But for me, what I loved about it, it was you always knew it was going to be an origin story for Captain Marvel.
Yes.
But I love how it's also Nick Fury's origin story as well.
And Agent Coulson as well. Like his first few couple of days.
Yeah, Agent Coulson was great in it. He was just like this rookie, and when you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he's such a badass.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, he's
not here.
No, he's a guy who's just learning, and I just loved as prequels go. Sometimes they're just shameless cash-ins, whereas this seemed really thoughtful.
Like, hey, wink, wink, you know this, but now it's this earlier, or this is...
Yeah, it just...
this up.
It didn't feel like a shameful cash-in. It didn't feel like it was...
Yeah, they didn't bring it to the 90s just to be like, oh, we can do all these origins. There was a reason why Captain Marvel was set in the 90s, and it worked for her character, and it worked for like her relationships with Nick Fury, and leading on to the future films like Endgame. And like you've already built that relationship, because I loved the relationship building between, like we say, Nick Fury and Agent Coulson at the beginning. You know, we got that sort of like, it reminded me watching Men in Black and sort of obviously Pulp Fiction, that sort of relationship between the two, like buddy sort of like, oh, we're working the same thing, you're a rookie here, but I'm going to help you lead into their way. And then it became even more of a buddy comedy, sort of comedy. Marvel films always kind of funny with Captain Marvel and Nick Fury. I liked their dynamic, and it makes sense that they would have that pager, and that if, you know, Nick was ever in a lot of trouble, he would just call it. It wasn't just some random, oh yeah, this is this alien chick I had from a while back, I knew from a while back, so I'm just going to page her now. It was like, no, I know how important she is to the universe, and this is a serious...
And the fact that it was, what, so if that was set in the 90s and Endgame is set roughly now, you know, that's 20...
That's a chunk of time.
Yeah, it's 20-something years. And I think that it emphasises how important the snapping, which I don't like that term, but how important that is.
That's not an official term, to be fair.
No, and how important...
The snapping.
And how powerful Captain Marvel is. It all just links so beautifully.
Wow.
And it could have just been another one of those, let's kind of like shoehorn it in prequels, and it really didn't feel like that.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. And like, again, speaking about the sort of time period it was based in, you know, sort of like the 90s, you got the very 90s nostalgia feel, like the dial-up internet, for example. There was a bit there.
Well, I mean, you were very young in the 90s, weren't you? You were like 5 or 6. What year were you born?
What year was I born? 96.
You were born in 96.
Yeah.
Okay, so you only really remember very, very kind of like childish snippets of the 90s. Whereas for me, that was when I was at school, when I was at university, and they've got it. They've got the 90s down to the T. It's brilliant, and it's superheroes and nostalgia, and I love both of those things.
Yeah, it was it was gold, and there was also, she landed in a blockbuster. Just want to bringing it to the news. It's not really comic book related news, but the last blockbuster in Australia closed down, so that's a bit.
Yeah,
so
there's
only one left in Canada. So if you want a tribute to Blockbuster, go out and watch this film.
Yeah, the fact that it started in a blockbuster, I was like, how very 90s. As a kid, it was such a treat to go to Blockbusters. That was like the best Saturday ever. Go to the Blockbusters, pick a video.
And an alien from might land in you.
Unfortunately for me, that never happened.
A human with alien DNA might just land in your Blockbuster.
There was no human with alien DNA in Blockbuster in Wolverhampton, as far as I know.
As far as you know, I don't know. I think an alien could get away with infiltrating in Wolverhampton.
Wow.
Sorry, that was a bit harsh. But I also want to talk... do we want to go into spoilers yet? Have you got any non-spoiler thoughts that you want to
The soundtrack's brilliant. Oh, the soundtrack's brilliant. I just love... I mean, again, because it's my youth, because my teenage years were the 90s. I was a child in the 80s and my teenage years were the 90s. Oh, the soundtrack is great. I remember dancing to stuff like this in the Students' Union. It was wonderful. Every song they played, I was like, I love this song, I love this song.
I
Brilliant.
remember being in diapers in this. Not joking.
Diapers? Do you mean nappies?
Nappies.
We're
Oh
a
my-
British
and
show,
American.
Fraser.
I know, I am British, but I'm British and American now.
Nah,
We've spent too much time there. They've infiltrated, and it's almost like I'm a Skrull.
You are
And
an American
their
Skrull.
species is taken into me, and now it's,
I don't want you to be taken over by a Skrull.
Or like Captain Marvel gets some of the Kree DNA. I've got some American just seeping in now. So I'm like,
Yeah, that
no,
seems-
it just creeps out.
That is a beautiful metaphor.
every.
Do you know, I wish we were clever enough to have played for that gag, but that was just organic.
Yeah, that's me. Organic.
We're genuinely not clever enough to
No,
play for a
we're
gag
really
like that.
We're really, really not. So yeah, we're going into spoilers now. So like I said, fingers in ears, or you can pause the video or do whatever you want, and then just go out, watch Captain Marvel, and then come back. in.
Yeah. Watch Captain Marvel is brilliant. There's your biggest spoiler. It's bloody brilliant.
It is. Yeah. Final thoughts are: it's great. Go
Yeah,
watch it. The
loved
reviews
it.
are right. It's top. Now, I've got this in like bold and exclamation marks. The cat. I knew it.
You did
I knew
predict it. I mean, go back on all of our social media. Fraser did indeed predict that it was the kitty that would take Nick Fury's eye. Well done. It's just a shame there was no self. You can have
So
a self high five for
Yay!
that. Do it. Excellent. You deserve that.
The annoying thing is because the mics are so low down, that was more of a clap than a self high five. So I'm going to do a really high one.
There we go.
But you can't hear that as much because
Stop milking it.
But yeah,
Stop milking it.
I just wish we put it on air. That bet button. Thank you for giving me that. Yeah, the cat.
I loved the cat's
There
character
wasn't a
as
scroll,
well.
but also wasn't just the cat like
No.
our poll suggested. It was an the scene where it just bursts out.
His face exploded into like tentacles. It was brilliant.
Like what? I was like, okay, and then I was going to ask you. It's like your cat doesn't do that, does it?
My cat does not do that. My cat's not been very well.
Maybe
so-
it's because it's been doing that, and it's
No, she had to go in for a scan, and she's got like a shaved belly.
Oh wait,
and she
a
looks
cat
weird.
Scan.
You should know. What's that pregnant woman scan? Ultrasound.
Ultrasound.
Yeah, she's all right now, but last week was just awful with an ill cat. So that cat
seeing
cheered
the
me
cat-
up. Yeah,
seeing the
yeah.
cat cheered you up.
I just love cats, Fraser.
I got
Cats
that
are the
vibe.
best.
I'm surprised this isn't your favourite Marvel movie just for the cat alone.
Well,
Just for-
in all honesty, I was expecting to
The cat
love
and
the
the
cat
90s
more
as
than
well.
anything. Cats and 90s, I mean,
it's
brilliant.
Or you,
I want... What was the cat's name?
Moose.
Moose.
No, or
Goose.
from
I
Top
want
Gun.
Goose to be in Endgame. Well, we need...
That would be
right,
brilliant. If she
we
comes
need
with the
everybody.
cat. Yeah.
We need everybody. Not...
included.
We've got a raccoon. Why can't we have a cat?
Yeah, bring Howard the Duck along as well if they made.
Yeah, let's get Howard
That's
in
what
there.
I mean. If they made the snapping in as well, I wonder if
Howard... Oh,
Goose
is
has
Howard
got-
dead?
Goose has got to have made it. That's what I'm hoping.
It depends. If it's cat ages, it would unfortunately be dead
yeah,
because
it
no
would.
cat lives beyond about 22, 23,
But there's a
24.
bit of it, yeah.
Whereas if it's like alien ages, then it could still be around, and therefore
Fingers
could
crossed.
could be the final weapon against Thanos.
Just throw a cat, just scratch it. Doesn't even do the powers.
Take his eye.
Doesn't even do the powers that he usually has. Yeah, just scratch out his eye. If he can't see, he can't snap. Well, no, yeah, he can snap his fingers. If
He
you
can.
can close your eyes. Maybe the cat. Yeah. When Thanos always goes, you should have gone for the head. Like, fine, throw the cat. At his
Yeah,
head.
throw the cat at his head.
And then as it goes to snap, then someone else could go there. Throw the cat on his hand. I'm sorry, but if you've ever had a cat on you, you know you can't really do much when it's on. Like when it's clawing on you, like no.
Yeah.
You just lose sense of
I've still got holes in my chest
Oh.
from trying to put my cat in the cat basket.
oh.
Yeah.
Not a fan. But what else should we talk about? Spoilery. Well,
the cast, the actors
Yeah.
were all brilliant. The performances were brilliant, and there's a real skill to Samuel L. Jackson's knocking 60, I think.
Oh, and looking
playing,
that young.
Well, yeah, but that's makeup, which is brilliant.
CGI as well.
But behaving young.
Yeah.
That's
He's
real
young at heart, though,
No,
isn't he?
that's what I mean, though. He's done really well at acting like a younger version of a character he's played for a long time. And Brie Larson was phenomenally good. It's the cast were great. I felt like everybody fit their role brilliantly, and the people playing younger versions of what they've already played did really well. It just
It's making
brilliant.
it's making depth to your character, and that is a great actor skill, because it is like, especially with Nick Fury, because he's been playing that role for so long, and he's also been recently been playing it twice, but at two different ages, because I don't know how close Captain Marvel and Far From Home were filming wise, but he was playing Nick Fury. He's going to be Nick Fury potentially 3 times this year if he comes back from the snapping in. Maybe not.
Oh no! But we need Nick Fury back. I love him.
He's playing a young version of himself here, and then he's playing, Nick Fury, regular age.
Oh, and then he's in Far From Home as well, isn't he?
Exactly. So them two were so close together. Like that shift, like you're still being that character, but Nick Fury aged rapidly through those couple of months. He's gonna have to go from, wait, let me take all this makeup off. Yep, now I'm old Nick Fury again, or
But Samuel L. Jackson is. He's in so many cool things. He's played so many cool characters, and that's because he's an incredible actor. And doing this just proves further that he deserves every accolade he has.
And he's just the coolest.
I want to meet him. I want to be friends with Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, some of the interviews.
I want to be like 1% as cool as Samuel L. Jackson.
You just wanted to say, do you want him to call you a mo?
Yeah. I want him to call me that. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
So what I wanted to talk about was just to sort of, I've actually made a list because I knew how poor my memory was. So I sort of done like a rundown in order. Obviously, I couldn't do it in the midnight screening because I was just like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And then I couldn't do it the day after because I was still just like, I can't get over how good it was. So I did spend a while and just sort of like tried to run it down by when they appeared. That Stan Lee tribute we talked about a couple of weeks ago that they said they were going to do.
My feelings.
It was beautiful. So they did the Marvel typical logo, but it was all his cameos, and it just shows the impact he's had. Of course, in Marvel, but in the films as well.
I thought I was very close to crying, and I looked across at you. If you were crying, I would have been okay to cry, but you weren't, so I didn't.
Oh mate, I was.
But I was pretty close.
I think it was the tiredness that was like, okay, I'm not going to cry.
Like, oh,
I also didn't want to cry because we were with someone else as well, and I was like,
yeah,
we were
Gilly. That's true.
And I was like, I know, I've got to maintain some kind of. And I was
yeah,
just like, that was.
We went with our mate Gilly, who's a lot tougher than we are, so I'm sure he wasn't like broken up and dying inside, going.
I'd definitely watch it. If I definitely watch it again, I'm like, yeah, no, on my own, I'm like, balling.
But it was beautiful. It was really beautiful.
And his cameo was beautiful because it was only a small cameo. He's in the bus.
Is it the last one?
He's no. He's filmed a few more. I think what would be really poetic. I think it might be Far From Home, might be his last trailer, and obviously he's known very well for Spider-Man and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that might be his last one. But this one was very touching because he was reading a script for a film that he cameoed out in the 90s called Mallrats, which was directed by Kevin Smith.
That was
who
nice.
had such a beautiful friendship with Stan Lee. Kevin Smith himself has talked about, before he even did his review, he talked about the cameo. He knew for a while and had to keep it closed up, but he knew... it was when Stan passed, Kevin Feige reached out to him and talked to him about this and stuff like that. And he was like, oh, do you have any extra takes from... Because when Stan filmed the cameo, it was one of his sicker days, so they were wondering if he had any spare takes and stuff like that. He went, I don't, but reach out to Universal and stuff like that. But it's just a beautiful moment, and, like... Kevin Smith, I can't remember in the video if he does well up a bit, and I don't blame him. If something like this was to happen, I'd be all tears everywhere.
Oh, no.
But like an acknowledgement of his work, because he always talks about how he feels like he's an outsider looking in, or like he's always sort of like, yeah, I've made films and stuff like that, but not like these Marvel films and stuff like that. He's always, at first he's someone who reviews.
He's
them.
Culty. He's not mainstream.
Yeah, exactly. And like he was saying, like them inviting me in was, a beautiful touch. And Mallrats is a great film because it's so comic booky.
It's a great film,
and it's so comic booky. And Stan has that beautiful speech that he has to Brody at the end, and it's just pure gold. But it was nice to see that, and it's. These Stan cameos as well, the ones we've had like since his passing, have all been beautiful because they've all sort of acknowledged Stan in his life more so than his usual ones. Like we had the one in Into the Spider-Verse where it's like he was he was in the shop selling and he was talking about Spider-Man, and his death and stuff like that, and what he meant to the people. But that could so be easily interpreted to what Stan was.
And I loved all the daft ones. I loved it when he was a watcher. And I loved all the daft ones. But it just seems that they've landed so right with the really sensitive, touching ones. as around his illness and then his death. It's
exactly
it's beautiful.
Like we say, they've been really touching and stuff like that, and I know it's sad to think, but it just, again, it shows. We said this when we talked about his passing on the air. His presence will be forever felt, and
absolutely,
yeah, just excellent touch by the film.
I thought so.
A beautiful moment for Kevin Smith, who was, again, him and Stan. Just watch some videos between them two. It's so cute to see, and I kind of wish I could see like a documentary of just them two. Like, I could watch them two for hours, or if someone made a film about just their two friendship, because it is, Kevin was a fan, he was a geek like all of us, and he got to imagine making a film and being like, hey Stan, do you want to be in it? And like,
yeah, exactly.
So cute.
Right, let's go back to talking about the film.
I want to talk about the Skrulls, because obviously everyone's expecting Skrulls, they're going to be the villains, obviously, and they start off as the villains. We sort of see them, they're attacking Nick Fury, they're attacking Captain Marvel and stuff like that, and go, okay. But then they sort of do a twist on it. It's like, actually, the Skrulls
I didn't expect that.
Are victims, and I was like, I liked that, because it was...
it was good.
And they could have done, like they sort of did, like, a social commentary and sort of just, like, on, like, refugees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like they're just looking for a place to stay, but it wasn't too much, like... Not forced, do you know what I mean? It
was
works
clever.
well with the story, and just like they're just trying to find somewhere to be safe.
And some twists are twists for twist's sake.
Yeah.
Whereas that felt like, oh, wow. And then suddenly, I thought it was really sensitively done. I thought it showed that, when people are desperate, they will do stuff that they're not comfortable with morally.
Yeah.
And I thought it was done so well. It kind of emphasised their desperation, that they were prepared to kill, and
just to survive as well.
Yeah, exactly. And it was really well done. Really well done.
Yeah, I think what also helped with the whole like feeling like they were villains was Ben Mendo played the lead Skrull, and he is notoriously known for being a villain. Orson Krennic, in Rogue One. He was recently the bad guy in Ready Player One. It's just sort of like you saw Ben Mendo getting cast, Ben Mendelsohn, and you're like, yeah, Skrulls are going to be the villains.
And I suspect that was deliberate as well.
I liked the reveal, like they revealed it early on that he was a Skrull because he was talking to the Skrull body, and he was like, "Don't worry." But then, it was a turn, and he was like in Skrull form for much longer than I thought, because he was a big actor. So, and usually these actors don't play ego, but usually want to show their face. But fair play to him, he was under that Skrull makeup for a long time, and I think it also sets up in this that, okay, some Skrulls could be on Earth, but we're not going to get a whole sort of force like, oh, we're going to change the entire universe where these people were Skrulls or these people were. It's just like, no, it was a one-off thing. We could use it again, but if we use it again, I think it's not likely going to be a whole Skrull invasion. It's more going to be like, oh, these people are Skrulls.
That's the thing, isn't it? People who are really into the comics expected an invasion because that's what happened in the comics.
Yeah.
And it turned everything on its head, which I think's great. I don't want to go into comic book films with exact replicas of what I've read in the comics. I don't want to know what's coming. And the fact that I was expecting the Skrulls to be the bad guys, I was thinking, is this going to go past Endgame and there's going to be people that are Skrulls?
Yeah. That was the thing.
That turned it completely on its head. And I was like, well played. Well played, sir.
It gives you a bit of sense of relief as well. It's just like, okay.
Yeah, because if Rocket's a Skrull, I'll be vexed.
Oh, my goodness.
Mate, I don't want Rocket to be a Skrull.
Imagine?
I'll be well vexed.
Imagine if someone like Ned was a Skrull.
Oh, Black Panther could be a Skrull. Oh, he's dead. Is Spider-Man a Skrull? Oh, no, he can't. He's dead.
No, they can be. Like, it's half of the...
He's a dead Skrull.
It's half of the population, so the Skrulls...
So Spider-Man's a dead Skrull.
Half of the Skrulls are gone as well.
Yeah, that's true. Spider-Man the Skrull is dead, Fraser.
Leave it, mate. Just leave it. So, the actual villains of the piece, the Kree... Now, to be fair, there were...
How good was Jude Law? What a baddie he was.
Brilliant. And you don't expect it, really, because, again, he usually plays the heroes. So, again, another nice twist on it. But I also liked... we also talked about this earlier on the show. I know semi-predicted, but also listening to the YouTuber Mr. Sunday Movies, he sort of helped me more predict that the Kree might have been evil anyway, because the members of the Kree, Ronan especially, have all been villains in Captain Marvel's like Rose Gallery, so there was hints and nudges there towards that maybe the Kree weren't going to be so clean cut. But for me, it sort of seemed more like this war was just going to, stick Captain Marvel in the middle, and she sort of had to stop the war at both ends and maybe fight against both. We didn't get that. I also thought I liked the way they went with it, though. I also, even halfway through the film, I thought, okay, maybe the Kree are okay, because they made it seem that Ronan was the bad, the true bad one who was separating the Kree and causing a bit of a rift there. So it was going to be some of the Kree would side with Captain Marvel and the Skrulls and go against Ronan, and some of the Kree would be corrupted by Cronin. Turns out they were all corrupted by Cronin.
Yep.
So it still worked out very nice in that respect. And Jude Law, we thought it was going to be Marvel, but actually ended up being Yomrog, which is kind of cool. It's like, okay, I see that. And the the Marvel twist in the end, where they gender bended the character, I thought that was a beautiful touch.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, it's going to get hate because of the toxic people we talked about before. It's like, why are you making him a woman? But I thought it was brilliant because she played the Supreme Intelligence, and the way they touched on the Supreme Intelligence, and this was really cool because it wasn't some it wasn't some alien. Don't want to offend any alien listeners out there who may have found a sound wave that's this.
Right.
But usually it's an alien and stuff like that. But the way they did it, it appears as someone who inspires you. So it's sort of like, it's that thing in Harry Potter, the mirror where you see what you want. And I always like that interpretation because it makes it more personal for each individual character and sort of adds to their story.
Yeah, I thought it was cleverly done.
And the fact that Carol Danvers kept seeing this Supreme Intelligence as this woman, we're like, who is this woman?
Yeah.
And then when it is Marvel, you're like, oh, that is very good.
Yeah, I thought so.
Touche.
I felt this. I mean, in conclusion, for me, we've sat there and gushed and said, love it, love it, love it. I really struggled to find anything bad about it. I mean, I could whinge that she had a montage and then was super powerful, but that's fine. It's set in the 90s, and 90s films had montages, so that's even fine. I just felt like it was a brilliant balance of action, humour, character dialogue, and backstory that worked. I always try and balance it, but all I can find is gush about this film.
The Thanos thing, the Thanos balance with the pen.
Yeah, exactly.
With the knife. I'm
much more balanced than you. You gush, whereas I've become you. I've gushed about this film, and I've got nothing bad to say about it.
Well, that's great to hear. Should we finish off then with the 2 post-credit scenes, because these were both epic? We should talk about... Actually, no, we can talk about that when we talk about the second post-credit. Should we talk about the second post-credit scene first?
All right, then.
Because it's the... So it's always the same
I
one.
laughed.
They did this with Ant-Man and the Wasp. They had, the big serious sort of like hint to Endgame one, and then they had the funny one where the ant was playing the drums. And I think we turned and you were like, is there going to be a second one? I was like, I think... And this is our second happy prediction about the cat. I went, I think it's going to be the cat. And the cat rolls up... and pukes out the Tesseract, which was... We'll talk about the Tesseract after we get your thoughts on just the cat puking Tesseract.
Yeah, and the thing is, I own a cat. That is exactly how cats puke. So the CGI cat puked perfectly. I don't know whether they should be proud of that or not, but it was funny.
And applause for the cat.
Yeah, I did like the cat. I want more cat. I want cat in Endgame.
Cat in Endgame. Get that hashtag going. But yeah, the Tesseract made an appearance, and that was a big, ooh, hello. Because obviously, it becomes a space tone, and now we've seen it in Infinity War, and I was like, oh, okay. And, the Mr. Sunday Movies on YouTube has done like a timeline of the Tesseract, and it's gone here, there, and everywhere. Because at first, halfway through the film, I was trying to work out in my head, I was like, wait a second, they shouldn't have the Tesseract because it's... And then I was trying to work out actually where it was, in relation with the timeline. I was like, could that work? Could that work? And then when I saw this video, I was like, oh, okay, it can work, because Howard the Stark gets the Tesseract, and then they get the Tesseract for a bit, and then it gets puked up.
And the Kitty had the Tesseract in him.
Yeah, and sort of Nick Fury, I feel like, doesn't want to... Nick Fury's relationship with the cat was beautiful.
Yeah, that
was amazing, which made the betrayal even more heartbreaking. But what I love about this is, and why it's probably, they can get away with this when he doesn't talk about it in the future, is because it is kind of embarrassing for Nick Fury. I lost my eye to a cat.
Yeah.
And it is true. It was someone he trusted. He trusted that cat a lot.
He did
even
trust the
said,
cat.
I trust you, cat. It wasn't in those exact words, but I heard it, and I was like, I turned to you and
Yeah, you
did. I'm telling you, it's happening. And
Your prediction
you looked at
came
me like
true.
I was a fool. You're like, oh, stop it, Fraser, you're forcing it now.
I didn't. At that point, I was like, oh, you might be right. I'll never hear the last of it if he's right.
You won't every week. I'll start the show as, I was right about the cat. And then people who don't listen to it will be like, what is he on about? Some people who just blanked out any time I talked about Captain Marvel were just like, what is he on about this cat for?
Cat.
But yeah, so like the Tesseract, it goes back, it goes, yes, and Nick Fury sort of just ignores, sort of won't really bring up the topic of the cat, which makes sense. And also, like we say, in the Marvel present, like from Iron Man onwards, that cat might have passed away, so he might be upset and not want to talk about the cat. And
he might.
Oh,
kitty.
Now let's talk about the first post-credit scene, because
it was what we expected, wasn't it?
It was Endgame tease.
It was a tease, but it was what we expected. We expected to see something to do with the pager.
She's going to be there. Like, so they had this pager locked up and they were sort of like working it, and it was turning off and on, and they were trying to get it started. And then she just appears. Now, I do not know how Black Widow managed to keep a straight face. Obviously, because she's, like this secret spy and stuff like that, and she's done all this like interrogations and stuff. But as soon as Black Widow turned round and Carol Danvers just popped up there, I jumped in my seat.
Yeah, you did.
And I'm a very jumpy person.
Yeah, you are.
Oh my goodness, there she is. And I knew she'd be there.
I laughed.
Or I knew she'd be like somewhat near.
I enjoyed you more than I enjoyed the scene.
Oh, I hope that just shows how much you enjoyed me jumping.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was a brilliant scene, and it is that thing of, she doesn't look like she's aged too much. Obviously, she's got that alien Kree DNA.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? That's easy to explain out.
Yeah, exactly. But she does look different, and yeah, I'm excited to see her in Endgame, and that is going to be a busy. If that all happens in like one day or one like meeting, because
I think that scene will be very early on in Endgame.
Could you imagine this is a scene? She pops up like, oh my goodness, and then the doorbell rings, and I'm like, wait a second,
and then the cat turns up.
I know, I meant
I know you meant Ant-Man, but still, the cat turns up, and and then the X-Men turn up.
No, I think
and then the Fantastic Four turn up.
You know what?
And Howard the Duck turns up.
There's a how it should have ended. The tease is just that. Like, it is actually, it's how it should have ended. And he knocks on, then some other people knock on, and it is like you say, it's all the X-Men, it's all these, and they're just all crowded in this one room, like. But I imagine, for the moment, it's just going to be Captain Marvel and Finger. I wonder if they'll come in at the same time and just be like... But it's cool now, because we've got two... Thanos is in a lot of trouble, because...
I hope so.
When Scott Lang came, we're like, oh, here we go, he's going to help the team, and now we're seeing Captain Marvel come in, and it's like, oh, they are seriously in trouble, because... We could hint that maybe both do a bit of time travel, but she's got, interdimensional stuff, and she's just got some sick powers. They managed to, I think... keep the powers relatively not too OP, but not like you've just depowered her here. It was a good balance, because in the comics she can just be like, she's going to mess everyone up, and that was the fear, just making everyone else look weak. But I think she'll fit in quite perfectly when she integrates into the Avengers.
I can't wait. Endgame is going to be...
We're even closer and closer to Endgame. How mad is
Mate,
that?
midnight launch. Midnight launch for the win.
And we've got... This is the perfect...
Sleep is for losers.
We're entering like the perfect time for superhero and comic book stuff, because we've got Hellboy, we've got Shazam, all like coming out in this like small little gap, then Endgame, and then it's just going to keep on rolling, and the next thing you know, it's just going to be like... We've had so much superhero stuff. We're going to have jam-packed shows every week. It's going to be...
We are. It's a good job. We've gone 2 hours.
I know, yeah. It's perfect time. Do you remember those early days when we were like, oh, no.
And we had to cut sections.
Or I was talking about
when
we had slow news weeks.
No.
No more.
No more slow news weeks ever.
The news pieces have entered the Speed Force and boom, just like Barry Allen. Now, we want to know your geeky thoughts on Captain Marvel. Hopefully that you've seen it and you've not gone this far and not seen it, and we've just spoiled quite a lot of it for you.
We did give people the chance to skip.
We did give it one, yeah. But yeah, we want to know your thoughts. We've got a Facebook discussion group, we've got Twitter, we've got the YouTube comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and we might even share a few like in the upcoming shows and stuff like that, especially if you bring up an interesting question or something like that. It could fit into messages.
Talk to us.
Messages
From the multiverse, dear.
There we go. Forgot my own segment.
Talk to us.
But yeah, so that's it for the news this week. Well, reviews.
That's not a word, Fraser.
Revenues. So listen to Geek of the Week. Be sure to tune in next week. Same geek time, same geek channel.
And if you want to follow us on social media, it's at GOTW Radio on Twitter. Search for Geek of the Week Radio Show on Facebook. And to listen again, it's www.mixcloud.com/Geek of the Week Radio Show.